Well, good afternoon. Thank you for that, Amanda. I thought she was going to throw in a few stories about our many exploits together over 20 years. But I will share one thing. Grow has a jewel. She is a gem to have in your community. Any community would be lucky to have her. She is a dear friend. She works hard. She represents you all very well in the tourism industry across Oklahoma and the United States. Yes. The one story that I will tell you is her daughter just turned 12. 15. Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
So about 16 years ago, Amanda and I were at a group sales conference in Washington, D.C. We were at the Gaylord, and Amanda she was about 7 or 8 months pregnant. So when I saw your post the other day on Facebook that it was a birthday, I didn't catch 15. I couldn't believe that. Well, I couldn't believe she was over 10. I thought it said she was 12. So what happens when I don't have my glasses on? So good afternoon. It's great to be here. Today I have 2 of my favorite things. I'm with you all in Rotary, and I get to do my job. I get to talk about tourism in Green Country. So, and I'm not real good at the clicker thing, so I'll try to, if I lose track of it, I'm sorry. Okay. See, it's not on. There we go. We got it. I didn't have it on. I'm sorry. I need my 3-year-old granddaughter to do this stuff for me. She's way more advanced technologically than I am. So, Green Country Tourism is a 501c6 nonprofit organization. We operate much similar to a chamber of commerce. We are entrusted by our members, our communities, our leaders, and our legislators to market and promote Northeast Oklahoma, all 18 counties, as a tourist destination. We do this through all types of advertising, through print, TV, radio, videos, photography, social media, the whole digital world, which Amanda and I, it really became a big part of our life about 10 years ago. Of course, she's younger than I am, so she was more advanced in it than I am. Can't really say that. Green Country Tourism has been in business for 60 years. We started as a very small organization up in Bartlesville. And as it continued to grow and we continued to receive support from the state legislators and Oklahoma Tourism, the organization itself grew in staff and moved to Tulsa, being that Tulsa was centrally located for all of our members. So we're still in Tulsa at 71st and Harvard. If you're in the area, look us up, stop by, love to have you. We are here to serve our communities, our state, and our members. Boy, that's really bad. I don't know if I like that one. Here, I'll leave it there for a minute and catch up. So, as a resource for our members, we search and find the best marketing, advertising, and promotional opportunities that are out there. We reserve bulk advertising and offer huge discounts to our members so that they can promote their attraction, hotel, community, events, and it'd be affordable to do that. We all know that advertising the costs are way out of control. So we are here to help them find the best bang for their buck. We publish 4 of our own guides, and there's a couple of examples on the table. Our Shop, Dine, and Fun guide, as well as our attractions map. We also produce the Guide to Green Country, as well as Destination Green Country, which is actually for tour group operators, tour planners, those guys that bring the motor coaches into town. So they are actually, it's a niche magazine. So through that, we keep the cost low because we keep the creative, the development, the design all in-house through our partners, Donathan Design, a great graphic designer, works very hard. We have a great resource of printers that are out there that can give us the best quality at the best price for print jobs as well. Our digital services, and I served on the board for Green Country for 20 years. Well, I still didn't know the extent or the full story of all of the digital services that Green Country Tourism offers. And so, becoming the executive director, I've learned so much about the importance of digital marketing, social media, and the do's and don'ts of all of those. So, I try to stay off social media because I'm going to break a rule, one way or another. Our digital services are actually partnered through Digital Generator out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Jennifer Cockman, the principal and the owner of Digital Generator, actually worked for Oklahoma Tourism for 15 years. She built TravelOK.com all those years ago. And Amanda and I, well, we had lots of conversations with Jennifer when she was building that website. She also built the state's social media program. She built Green Country's social media, and she manages several of our partners' social media programs as well. Very successful company, and Oklahoma native, and has been in the industry, knows content writing, and knows how important a good photo is to catch the eye on social media. Excuse me. I'm very informal, so if someone has a question, please jump in there. So next year, we have a couple of things going on next year, huh? Amanda, what do we have going on next year?
The Quincentennial.
Quincentennial, yes, of America. We have the Route 66 Centennial. Oklahoma is going to be rocking it next year. It's going to be huge, all across the state. And as we continue to gain more information about what our communities are doing in their respective areas, I just can't get over the amount of events that are going to be happening. I don't know if you all have heard, but Tulsa announced the longest car drive on Route 66, May 30th, I believe, on Route 66 in Tulsa. They are anticipating over 3,000 cars. So it's going to be a really long drive, or they're just going to park, one or the other. But they are also shooting for a world record in the Guinness Book of World Records for that. Tulsa will also be hosting the National Convention of National Tour Associations, Travel Exchange. They're also hosting the National Preservation Conference in April. And so with all of those influx of visitors, now's a great time for us to help our communities and our members share their story. Why is it important that these travelers and these visitors come to Grove? Why do they go to Claremore? Why should they go to Tahlequah? And so that's the resources that we can provide to our partners. The power of tourism. So Lieutenant Governor was here in June when I was last here. He's just a tourism champion. And it's a blessing to have somebody that is out there that is rooting for our industry, who's engaged, who is in the thick of things. And so, of course, we tried to get him to announce for governor, but I don't know where he is in that process. But anyway, so let's talk about the power of tourism. Well, tourism is the purest form of economic development. It is an economic driver through sales taxes, through job force development, through jobs. through just not brick and mortar. We're behind the scenes. We don't, and I say we, destination marketing organizations such as Visit Claremore, the Road Convention and Visitors Bureau. Is Brent here? Missed him. We work behind the scenes, so a lot of folks don't understand that why we're not a visitor center. We'll gladly pass out our guides, but we don't have a door for a visitor to walk in and get those guides. We provide those guides through the state walking centers, through area visitor centers and chambers offices. Excuse me. Green Country has a partner, Zartico. And so Zartico is a data science program that doesn't tell us how many visitors we've had in a particular area. What it tells us is how that visitors spent their money while they're here. As a nonprofit organization, Rotary, you all understand this, it's important to tell our story, share the value of what it is we do. Green Country is no different. We have to work with our legislators to continue getting matching funds so that we can continue providing the resources and the services to those 18 counties in Northeast Oklahoma. With Zartico, we're going to be able to tell our legislators just how important tourism is in Northeast Oklahoma. We are just diving into the program. We have a consultant that meets with us once a month. And this is so interesting because this information is gathered off of credit card use. And then devices, meaning your cell phone. So, what I did before I left the office, now I have to have my glasses, is I pulled some information on growth. And this is actually, I thought it was pretty interesting, especially as some of the announcements were going on a while ago. So in fiscal year 2025, Delaware County's top markets were Oklahoma City, Wichita, Tulsa, Kansas City, and Joplin. Visitors range from the ages of 25 to 65, with the highest number of visitors ranging from 45 to 55 years old. However, visitors 55 to 64 spent more money per visit while they're here. 19% of all the devices were visitors, and 61% of those were from out of state. 45% of those visitors were here in Grove, and 39% were in Cleora. I knew nothing about Cleora. So, does somebody, can you explain Cleora to me? Is South Grand. Okay, thank you. I looked it up on a map, and it didn't look like South Grand to me, but, and this is, again, this is data-driven, so I had to look it up. So, is it a city? Is it? Small? Okay.
No, it's a school.
It's a school?
It's a school.
Okay. Well, you know, one thing about being in tourism in Oklahoma, it is a better history lesson than what I had in junior high and high school. It is all about history and culture of our great state. And so just like today, just now learning about Cleora. So yeah, I learn something new every day and it's awesome. So where did those visitors spend their money? 49% spent on food and beverage. 32% spent on groceries. 27% spent at bars and lounges. So I heard something about a fantasy football game, and I'm thinking, okay, so the 27% that is spent in the bars and lounges, is that where they meet for the fantasy football? I just was thinking, so 24% of visitor spending was at local restaurants. These are not the chain restaurants, these are not fast food restaurants. These are your local restaurants. And 37% of all visitor spending was spent on local businesses. your boutique stores, your bake shops, anything besides Walmart. So those are all extracted from the information, those big box stores. So when visitors are spending in your local businesses, and it's turning that dollar, that helps that local business even more. Helps them stay open, helps them hire more staff, build their product, build their inventory. And so that's what we like to see in the industry. So what does all this information tell us? If it were me in Claremore or Green Country, I would increase my advertising efforts in those top 5 markets. I would focus on the age group 55 to 64 because they're spending more money when they're already here. So let's get some more of that age group here to help spend more money. Increase our advertising efforts on our local businesses and our restaurants and our merchants, which will drive sales taxes. We're excited for Green Country's future as we strive to make Northeast Oklahoma a destination. Through our partners, our members, our communities, and of course the state support, we rely on all of the above to help make Green Country a success. And it's an honor for me to be in this position and continue to do what I love, which is talking. So here I am. Are there any questions?
On the data you just shared, we are hot. On the data you just shared about how dollars are spent in our city, where did lodging fall on that list?
So, lodging, and I don't know if I wrote it down. I did not.
I thought it's interesting because the lodging tax is what pays for our convention and visitor bureau, and yet where we're making money off are these other things. I just thought that was interesting.
Right. So what I do remember seeing, we don't actually have a lodging component in our partnership with Zydeco. Individual communities that have a partnership with Zydeco, they can purchase that on their own. But I do remember seeing that 19% of the visitors were staying either in hotels, motels, but more of them were actually at the campgrounds and your VRBOs and your lake cabins. So a higher percent there.
And that was from the high school. You sent us the high school data, and it was
Yes.
19% of the people here for the student national tournament. 19% stayed local for the fishing tournament. For the fishing tournament, that's what that was from.
How many rooms do you have in Brooke?
Not enough.
Brent mentioned it, so.
Okay, so that would be interesting. So 19% of the people who came in for that high school tournament, which we all thought was insane, the number of people in town, where did they stay?
All around the lake.
Oh, VRBOs all around the lake. Okay.
Still in it.
Can we get these in quantity by?
Absolutely. Amanda has them. I'm glad to ship them out. I have a few extra with me today. I'd be glad to share them.
Yeah, I'd love to put them in my store.
Okay, wonderful. I'll send some with you.
I'm just curious about something that has to do with the visitor information centers around the state. What's the status of the one on floor 12 at Little Kansas?
Closed.
And are there any plans or?
Not that I've heard. I know because of funding and staffing, it remains closed. So I don't know if they're going to plan to reopen that as a visitor center or much like the Cherokee, what used to be the Cherokee Nation Welcome Center in Tulsa became a Pike Pass Center.
Yeah.
So they're using the facility in other ways.
Who owns it?
The state of Oklahoma.
The tribe had not purchased it?
The tribe had not purchased it. It was a lease agreement between the Cherokee Nation and the state of Oklahoma, the Department of Tourism. But the Cherokee Nation went in and completely renovated that building to bring it up to code, to make it look more pleasant. Then part of it became their tag agency, and the other part stayed a welcome center. And unfortunately, through some, how should I say, chaotic times with our state and the tribes, the state gave notice to, it's not just the Cherokee Nation, but the Chickasaws and the Choctaws also had welcome centers, and so they were all given notice to vacate the buildings. And this was about 4 years ago. To my knowledge, the state has not taken any of those back over yet, or I don't know if they're going to. And it's a shame because being with Claremore, I was concerned because a lot of our literature not only was in all of the welcome centers, but people that visited the Cherokee Nation Welcome Center, they were actually referred to Claremore. They would tell the story of all of the attractions, just as Miami does. The visitor center there talks about Miami and Grove and Veneta and Claremore. And so with that loss of that word of mouth hurt.
What are some of the top, say, 5 or 6 tourist destinations in Northeast Oklahoma? Where do most of the tourists stop? I know Grove is number 1, but
Of course, absolutely. I would say Tulsa as, of course, the biggest destination in our area. And looking at some of the visitorship, the Gathering Place is taking the top spot. The zoo, Tulsa Zoo. I have to tell you a story about the Tulsa Zoo. So Zartico shared with us that the Tulsa Zoo, 59% of the visitors in fiscal year 25 were from out of state. 39% of them were from Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas, Western Arkansas, Central Arkansas. They felt like the Tulsa Zoo was better, so they didn't go to the Little Rock Zoo. So those visitors went from the zoo, they went to the Gathering Place, they went to the Outlet Mall, they went to hotels. They went to hotels not just in Tulsa, but they went to James Hotels in Owasso because it's in such close proximity. Even the Tulsa airport, we can track and see where those visitors are coming in and where they're going. So, not to get off track here, I would say the Gathering Place, with Route 66, any attraction that's on Route 66. Tulsa has the big east and west Route 66 attraction, and I forget the name of it. The Center of the Universe in Tulsa. As odd as that is, and my husband and I just went there 6 months ago for the first time ever, and we had to do the test about the whole sound thing. I don't know if you know the story about that, but you need to just go, because when you stand in the center of the universe, you can't hear anything else but your echo. It's so weird. But it's a top spot, you know. Pioneer Woman, Pahuska, is still rocking it. Lots of group activities going on up there. Bartlesville, with the film industry, and the film industry in Northeast Oklahoma has just exploded. Broken Arrow shooting a film, or they just finished. Guthrie shot a film. Well, Bartlesville, I think they have 4 or 5 still on the books coming up. So when they leave a movie site, people want to see that movie site. So right now, tourists are going up to Pahuska and seeing where Killers of the Flower Moon was shot, up in Bartlesville. It's a huge draw for Oklahoma. It's done a lot for our state.
Excuse me. Where does Monkey Island fall in your statistics?
Number 1.
We know that, yeah.
I did not pull Monkey Island out by itself. What I did was I went countywide.
Does it go into Grove?
Yes. So I can drill it down to go into Grove, but it would be the entire Grove area. It wouldn't just pull Monkey Island.
Okay. Have you been there recently?
Not recently. I haven't been to Shangri-La in 35 years.
It would be well for you, since it is one of the top things in Delaware County as far as generating dollars.
Yes, absolutely.
It would be good for you and your people to go visit there.
Yes, and it is on our radar. We've been working with Mike at Shangri-La, getting to know him, and so we are trying to make it to where our entire team can come up. And I say 35 years ago because my aunt and uncle had a place on Monkey Island. And in my former healthcare career, I remember the doctors of osteopathic medicine having their annual convention at Shangri-La, and because I was in sales for home health, we came up and we had a booth. Now you talk about a party invention, folks. That convention was nuts. But they had tons of people here and tons of fun. So from what I understand, they're still doing that. Are they still meeting once a year at Shangri-La? No? Well, I mean, maybe it's not as big as it once was, but I'm thinking there was 400 or 500 doctors there for a week. You know, and again, that was 35 years ago. So I make a promise to get back to Shangri-La.
Back over here, please. Yeah. With all the exciting things happening on Route 66, is there a single site that we can go to see all the celebration events about Route 66 and all the different things happening?
There are so many organizations that are working together to try to make that happen. So we have the Route 66 Alliance, we have the Route 66 Centennial Commission, we have the Route 66 Commission, and then of course we have various Route 66 groups across the state. What my team is working on is building a landing page for Route 66, which would include all of those communities that are on Route 66, their attractions. They're already on our website, but pulling them out, and then making a nice list of the activities and events that are going to be happening. So I wish I had better information, but I don't. Yes, sir.
Right here. One of the things that I think is important to this part of the state of Oklahoma that I don't see mentioned is our campgrounds. We have some fabulous campgrounds here, and we need to put more emphasis out there to the general public about our state parks.
Absolutely. And so we have 42% of the state parks are in Northeast Oklahoma. And so, of course, we promote them, and I know that the state does as well. I'm not for sure what their advertising budget is at the state level, but I know that they are focused more on the infrastructure of the parks, bringing them up to date, getting the restaurant thing figured out. But I will tell you this, we were here a couple of weeks ago and we met with the owner of the Regatta. What a gem that RV park is. My husband and I are RVers. And of course, as much as I travel, I'm always looking for those great RV spots that really stand out. So I'm at a consumer show in St. Louis, Missouri. Then I'm at a consumer show, it's actually an RV show in Kansas City, and another one in Dallas, and this is last year. All I kept hearing about was there's an RV park in Grove, Oklahoma that delivers margaritas to your door. Well, I met the owner. The word of mouth about that RV park is priceless. You can't get that in a paid advertisement. But people from St. Louis to Kansas City to Dallas all knew about the nightly delivery of your evening beverage. It's phenomenal marketing, you know, and she's a great gal. What a great local business. The park is awesome. I told my husband that we were coming up just for the margarita delivery. We'll stay the night and maybe stay another night. RV parks, especially since COVID, have grown in numbers. I know one in Clemmer just opened up a new one, and it has 100 spots. And so we're seeing that all over Northeast Oklahoma.
Thank you so much. I'll give her glasses also. Great job, Tanya. Thank you so much for presenting that to us today. And next week's program is Chief Glenna Wallace with Eastern Shawnee Tribe. And final announcements, again, Mulligans has already left, but what a great lunch that we had. And our guests and our 3 new Rotarians. Great round of applause for all 3 of them. Also, we're having a foundation meeting following this, and Diane Hampton is having a meeting as well after this. So if you will get with Diane and then meet in the library for our foundation meeting. Chairs and tables, pick everything up, and if you will stand, we'll adjourn with a 4-way test. Of all the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And is it fun?
Can't be hard. But we are going to be
No, I know. My son's in.
hopefully they'll be welcome. What was the construction? Really good.
But that's, yes, absolutely. So we do actually have, so our parent company is Active Business Space, and so I do HR and so like might be some things that might have some interest. Even tell us that, yeah, I can send it to you. Yeah, I You're welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
Good work, guys.
Thank you,
Glad to have you aboard. One thing I told Emily.
Yes, you're right.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I'm still amazed at how many Rotarians don't know that we are related. Well, the boxes back here, we all have to also, you don't have to, but I would encourage you because otherwise you'll leave it home.
So